You on this Thursday morning. Sorry for getting started a little bit late. I've got to start off with my fun story because it wouldn't be a live stream without one. I'm just noticing behind me this. Hang on, let me fix that. It's gonna drive the ADD guy in me. There we go. Much better. So thanks, Joseph. This is a we are hiring video for Veeya, for Viatto. It's going to be a whole bunch of great stuff. So here's the challenge. Let me give you the quick story. So yesterday, the power goes out, right? At our house, and so being that we live in Arizona, it is hot, and so my wife goes, well, let's get some fans going for the kids. Do we have any UPSs? Because of course my wife knows what UPSs are, and so I unplug everything in my office to get the UPSs, because of course they're all connected to my stuff. So we use those to power the fans. You kind of know where the story's going, right? So this morning I'm like, everything's disconnected, right? Well, here's the twist. So I get everything done. This is like 15 minutes ago. Everything's up and running. I'm like, great, let's get started. So I go to start the live stream, and God bless YouTube and all of their wily ways. So the YouTube live stream, here's a fact. If you ever do live streaming, you'll want to know this fact. If you plan to do your YouTube live stream from your phone, then you actually have to schedule it from your phone. You can't do it on the desktop, and vice versa. If you want to do a live stream from your computer, you have to schedule it from the computer. Well, many of you know I do these Thursday live streams most of the time walking around. I'll be out in a park somewhere, just walking in the morning, getting some fresh air, just talking on sort of thing. So it was scheduled to run on my phone, and YouTube literally has no way of taking a live stream that was scheduled for your phone, your mobile device, and actually starting it from your computer. So after I get all of my power stuff sorted back out, morning, Michael. After I get that all sorted out, I go to start the live stream. I'm like, I can't do it. So now I'm literally sitting here in my office with this amazing recording setup that would be glorious on my phone. So you'll have to forgive the jitteriness. Actually, you know what? Hang on one second. I've got to, because otherwise you guys are going to have to deal with the jitteriness the entire time. I'm going to, I've got a little gimbal here, so you're going to have to bear with me. This is terrible. This is like, welcome to our company, and this is what it is. So hang on. It'll be a little less bouncy. Sorry, guys. We're all over the place. 1 second. Almost there. There we go. And probably, woo! All right, hang on. There we go. That should be a little less jittery. Hello from Houston, Texas. Hello to all the folks that are jumping in. All right. Well, that'll at least let me talk a little smoother as I'm talking about this. Okay, so welcome to Veeya. Welcome to our company. So what I want to do, this will be a lot smoother at this point. What I want to do is I want to walk through, first off, who is Veeya? Who is Viatto? You see the title of this video. We are hiring. I want to talk about our culture, what makes us, what we do at these companies. And I want to talk about who is the right person to apply. So I'll probably edit this video when it's said and done to save all the jittery start. Or maybe I won't, because that's one of the fun things about working at a small startup company is sometimes everything doesn't go as planned or as smoothly as you would have hoped. So let me get started. First off, Veeya and Viatto. What? So Veeya And yes, I can see your chats as we're going through. So please continue to chat in. I know a lot of the team members who work at Veeya are also tuned into this as well. So honestly, chat in your honest perspective. I know people will be chatting in questions like, "What's it like?" and all of that kind of stuff. Chat back to them. So because obviously, if I'm talking, I can't answer every single one of the chats as they come through. But I see them as little bubbles going across my screen. Thanks, Joseph. So that said, let me start off with Veeya, and then I'll get to Viatto, which is the newest one to enter the fold. What Veeya is a managed service provider. If you haven't heard of an MSP before, you will. They are actually one of the fastest growing sectors in technology. That is, organizations that focus in on how to do technology well, how to do it the right way, and then they come to organizations and do that for them. Some people would call it outsourced IT. So the name Veeya actually gives a big clue on who we are and what we're about. Veeya is a play on words, Veeya. It's a play on words for via, like VIA. Like I get there via this, via, that. So it's Latin for the way. And that is literally what we mean when we say the name. There is a way to do IT that brings life and not death. I know that sounds crazy, but that is, you'll hear that a lot about life and changing life and things like that. That's at the heart of a lot of our mission that we have at Veeya. So you might be like, that sounds heavy. At the core of our mission is we simplify technology so that others can accomplish more. One of our target markets is education and churches. These are people that really are focused in on changing lives. That's a lot of the companies that we support. And so a lot of times we take that down a level and we say, we simplify technology, we do more to help life changers change lives. That's a lot of what we're about. So what do I mean when I say we're about life and not death? Man, with all of the shuffling, I totally forgot my coffee as well. I need to have that. So the typical way that an organization brings in IT people will typically lead to what I would call death. And I know that sounds heavy, but simplifying technology is not simple. Let me talk through how organizations usually do it. They will, they'll start off, there will be somebody on the team that's kind of apt at technology, kind of not, but they just become the de facto. And so as technology issues go, they go to that person, they fix it. So eventually the organization reaches a point where it's like, okay, we got to hire an IT person. So they go hire an IT person, and the person does what is natural. Simplifying technology is counterintuitive, and let me explain why. It is natural when somebody asks, hey, I need a printer, for that person to go, printer. Oh, we either have one, or let me order one for you. Let me go buy one, right, and set it up. Oh, hey, I need this application. Okay, let me get that going. Hey, everything's slow. The internet's slow. Blah blah blah. Okay, let me fix that for you. It becomes a naturally reactive way of handling things, not realizing that every single one of those things that somebody is asking for, the printer, the security camera, the network improvements, the applications that they're installing, every single one of them has a life cycle, which means at some point in time in the future, that thing that the IT person did will end up breaking or need an upgrade or a patch or a security hole, or you get the idea, you fill in the blank. And so what ends up happening is unexpectedly, the the technologist, the IT person, is now flipping to a reactive mode. This is where I call it death, where it becomes almost exponential, where things start unraveling. Oh man, and they start running around. And what's the organization naturally do? Well, they're not based in technology. They don't know better, so we need to hire another IT person, because the first IT person is obviously overwhelmed, and it's a self-perpetuating spiral of death, because eventually the IT people just get tired. And I work with them all the time. I've trained thousands of them, and I see the look in their eye every single time I've taught a class. They're just like, oh, it's never ending, right? And so that's the cycle of death that I'm talking about, and that's what we change at Veeya. We are all about life. And so we simplify technology by building it with intention. We say we're going to build technology as a service, which is all of the life cycle, all of the upgrade cycle, all the decommissioning cycle, the maintenance cycle, the monitoring, everything that is like that's an afterthought. I mean, imagine planting a field with a 1,000 plants. I have a ton of plants out there. I'm looking out the window right now. There's a ton of plants out there. They look beautiful when you plant them, but you have to water them, you have to feed them, you have to prune them. And that's the same thing for almost everything in life. And so Veeya is a technology as a service company. And we're hiring, and it goes back to the beginning of this. Okay. So let me talk about Viatto. What is Viatto? Well, when Veeya became Veeya, I sat down and I was like, okay, we need a path. We need a way. Paths are a constant theme of everything that we do at Veeya. Where are we headed? What's our direction? Well, that's why I outlined what is now known as the Veeya vision. 3 phases that we're going through. The first phase is to build a technology as a service MSP. It's everything I just talked about. That's Veeya. Viatto, and I mentioned this on a video I posted here not too long ago. Viatto is the same thing. It's actually phase 2 of the vision, which has always been build a learning platform that is the way. Viatto, Viatto. I took Veeya, the way, and combined it with coffee, like a macchiato, right? But to me, it actually means a little bit more, because it's phase 2 of the vision. Viatto. The learning platform that shows people the way, the real way to do IT. That's one of the things that we've learned and are continuing to learn at Veeya. How do you build technology as a service? How do you build something the right way from the beginning so you don't end up in reaction mode death a month from now, a year from now, when that all comes crumbling down because you didn't think about, oh yeah, monitoring, oh yeah, upgrading, oh yeah, so Viatto is going to be a learning platform that shows people the way that we do technology, right? So much more that I can say about that, but I'm gonna park that right there, because this is primarily about Veeya, a managed service provider that is now hiring, and I plan to use this video for not just the positions we're hiring right now, but the positions that we're hiring in the future. So if you're interested in Veeya, if you're interested in Viatto, watch this. Even if you never apply, I think it'll be valuable for you, because you'll hear a lot about our culture. You'll hear a lot about what we look for, what an employer looks for when they hire somebody, because I will tell you, number 1 that we look for is culture. Secondary is skill. Some of the things that I'm going to say in this may sound harsh, and I'm not meaning to. What I'm trying to say is that we have a culture at Veeya. We have a certain set of values that we go after, and if that doesn't fit you, that's okay, but wouldn't you rather know about that now? I would much rather know about that now rather than down the road after a month, after a year of working somewhere. You're like, I don't fit here. So as you hear these things, I mean, there's thousands of jobs out there. I'm sure there's a culture fit that fits you, but what I want you to hear is either, man, this is me, I want to apply for this, or this is not me. It sounds interesting, but definitely not what I plan to do. So I love building a company that has such a strong culture. It allows people to self-select, to hear it or to be in it and be like, this is not me. I don't feel like I fit here, or I don't feel like I would fit at that company. Okay, so know that as I talk about what we're looking for in terms of culture and what we're looking for in a person, it is designed to be kind of exclusionary, to have people say, oh, that's not me, or that's me, I'm all in, right? So first off, I want you to know that we hire two different kinds of people. Sorry, my little gimbal here is like shooting the phone all over the place. We hire two different kinds of people. The first kind of person that we hire are those who are just getting started. I have a huge heart for those that are just wanting to start a career, especially in technology. And it goes a little bit into my story. I'll give you the flyby version of that. When I finished high school, I did what everybody usually does. And okay, well, I guess the next step is college, right? So I sat down with the college counselor, and she said, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? And when you're 18, oftentimes I find you don't know. And I said, I don't know. Well, what do you like doing? And I said, well, I like computers. I like sure. And she pulled out a catalog, which back then was not as huge on technology as it is today, because back then, technology was not as prolific in all of the different industries. She's like, oh, here's one, computer science. You will, and she's like, she read the description. It essentially is, you will be a computer programmer. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good to me, right? 3.5 years later, after going through years of misery and pain and like, oh my gosh, like, and a whole bunch of trauma, I'll save for another story, car accidents, brain injuries. It's a fun story, but not today. 3.5 years later, I stopped thinking technology must not be for me. I despise it. I hate everything to do with the keyboard. And I literally went to work for Pizza Hut because I was like, this is not for me. I later very quickly found out Pizza Hut was also not for me, but it was because, the same reason I'm having this live stream right now, it was because I didn't match the culture. My skill set didn't match the culture of that college, the culture of that career, that path. Staring at a screen doing if-then statements just wasn't me because I didn't know why, right? So I go back to the first kind of person that we look for and that we hire at Veeya are those that are just getting started. I want people that are hungry and that match our culture, which I'm going to talk about right here, but maybe have no experience, but they have an aptitude for technology. You know what? You know what is going to sound funny? You know who I've found fit often really well? Gamers. I know. So some of the typical interview questions I'll ask is, do you do any gaming? And most people are like, I don't want to say it because then I'll be excluded, right? And I'm actually looking for somebody to be like, yeah, I either do or I have, because that tells me somebody has an aptitude. Because if you're a gamer, you know that after a little while, you got to upgrade your video card and you install it and it didn't work right. And you have to fix the drivers and all of those kind of things, right? It becomes a mess and you have to figure it out. Thus, you start gaining an aptitude for technology. Now, I'm not saying if you don't game that you're naturally excluded. I'm just saying that this is the first category of people that we're looking for. The second category of people that we look for are people that have the experience and are freaking awesome and fit our culture. Some of them have actually come into our organization from this YouTube channel. They've seen these videos. They're like, hey, I'd love to apply. I'm really good at this. And we find out they really are. And they step in as an immediate leader in our organization. These are the experienced people that have done this. And I have found, brief history of the company. I started thinking, I can just train everybody up and no. Jeremy, learn something. There is a ton of value in people that have gone before you and have skill sets that you don't have surrounding you to help out. So that said, know that those are the two different kind of people that we hire. So what are our core values? What are I see everybody jumping in. Chuck just jumped in. Hey, Network Chuck, joining us as well, who just had baby number 5. Congratulations to Chuck. So let me talk about our 4 core values, and this will be where you know it's a litmus test. Does this fit me? Our first core value is actually everybody's favorite, I think, at Veeya. Most, at least when most people talk to me about our core values, they're like, oh, I really love this one. It is, and I'm going to say it twice, enthusiastic curiosity. Enthusiastic curiosity. These are the people that ask the question, why, and live by that. And let me give you a litmus test. I've taught a lot of classes about technology, a lot of them online, a lot of them in person. And when I was in person, I had a little bit better perspective. There's always the lab guide, right? So let's just take a Cisco class that I'd be teaching. And it's literally a step-by-step on how to configure static routes, let's just say, right? And somebody will come there and they'll go through the steps. And then at the very end, it says, you have successfully completed this lab. And I would find out people would look up and they're like, I have successfully completed this lab. 2 different kinds of people would happen right then. And the first one would go, okay, I'm going to take a break. And they'd go get the free bagel, sip some coffee, come back in, wait for the next lecture, right? The second kind of person, this is the one I'm looking for with enthusiastic curiosity, would get to the end of the lab and they'd go, okay, I have successfully completed the lab. It doesn't satisfy something in my soul. It doesn't, I'm like, why did that work? Like, I followed the steps. I get it. I can now ping that other thing, but hang on. No, so why? Huh? I don't think I understood. And they would be the ones that would forego the bagel because it would be a break after the lab. And they'd be like, Jeremy, can you help me? I did this, but what exactly? Okay, what? And then they would have that light bulb moment. And I would get the gift of being able to watch it in them to where they'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then they'd say it back, okay, so by putting this in there, that gives the path. Oh, got it. Okay, got it, right? That's the enthusiastic curiosity. They're not satisfied that it's done. They're satisfied that they understood why it worked, or they completed it. Yes, obviously, it's like, get it done. If you just sit there and think, I wonder why this lab is necessary. I mean, no, get the job done. That'll come with one of our other core values. But then come back and say, okay, I didn't get that. Why is that, right? The second place I think enthusiastic curiosity applies is in the realm of people. These are the people that want to understand others' perspective. They want to understand why somebody has that perspective. You'll see it in a meeting where somebody is they say, well, I think it's best to do this. And instead of somebody's being like, no, I disagree, they'll say, okay, well, hang on, I'm curious. Why do you think that would be best? And the person's like, well, blah, 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 right? They give their reason. Okay, so then if that was, and the person asking why is genuinely interested in learning why. They're not just interested in asking questions to try and get that person to see their point of view. They really want to know why, right? So that's the kind of, so when I say enthusiastic curiosity, it's asking the question, why? Second off, what's our second core value? And because I had my notes, everything on screen, and because my live stream literally broke thanks to YouTube because it was scheduled on this mobile device, which is why I'm sitting here talking to you in this strange. Oh, there it is again. Hang on, it's that crack. We look for people that are obsessive about the little. Oh, there it is. Oh. What is that? What's where you wash your hands all the time? There's a disorder. I'm one of those. So second one, enthusiastic curiosity is great. We want to know why. We're driven. Oh man, hang on. Can I come back to this? We're driven by a love of learning. We love to learn. That's the enthusiastic curiosity. That's the why question. Now, and I want to make sure I emphasize when I say love of learning, I don't mean love of school. Now, no, don't hear me say that school is bad. School is great. But a lot of times when people hear learning, they equate it to the classroom, like I'm sitting in a classroom environment. No. I actually didn't discover a love of learning in myself until after I had left school. And I started realizing, wow, I really want to understand this, right? You start getting this enthusiastic curiosity where you're just like, I just want to figure this out, right? That's the kind of person we're talking about. Okay. Second kind of person that we're looking for is they use that love of learning. Here's our second core value. They use that love of learning. They use that enthusiastic curiosity to help others because they are, here it is, servant-hearted. There are people that are enthusiastically curious and they will go into a room and never come out because they just want to kind of do their own thing, right? A servant-hearted person is somebody who is really interested in helping other people. You're naturally drawn when you hear somebody. It's like a radar. You hear somebody that's like, I can't get this to work. They're on the computer, and you're like, what's like? You just naturally, it happens. It's inside of you. You naturally are like, yeah, what's going on? Like, hang on, you're thinking to yourself, I might have the skill to do this. What's up? They're like, well, blah 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 blah. Right? Now you might be the person that's like, oh, I got that. Yeah, just go. Yeah, just do this and this. And they're like, oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Or you might be like, wow, that is weird. There's your exit point back to enthusiastic curiosity. I wonder why that's happening. Hang on, let me figure that out. Let me ask somebody. You're really wanting to help that person. So again, I told you, I want this to be something where you can hear this and self-select because there's some people that are like, I don't like people, and I get it. I want to be the guy or the gal who sits behind a screen and never interfaces with anybody, right? This may not be the position for you. This may not be the company for you. If you don't like people, it's okay. There's positions for people that are that don't enjoy interacting with other people. There's so many caveats and clarifications I want to add. If you knew me 20 years ago, you would probably say that guy doesn't like people very much. He's kind of like and it's because my natural gravitation, my natural personality is very introverted. I would much rather be sitting in a corner with a book, reading, thinking, processing. Like that's just my nature. But there's something that I know if somebody is in need, I'm just drawn to them to help. And let me this is gonna, so as I came out of my shell, if you will, back in the day, I started realizing, you know what? I love being alone, but I also just have this strange draw to help people. I will say one of the things as I'm driving, there's the homeless person on the side of the corner. I will often give them money, or at least I used to. Nowadays, I've gotten out of my shell a little bit, and I will often ask that person, hey, you want to go grab a cup of coffee? Literally, in my car, on the freeway, I'll be like, hey, you want to jump in, grab a cup of coffee? Yeah, I totally fine. Yeah, I'd love to buy you lunch, buy you a cup of coffee. And some of them have taken me up on that. And I'm like, yeah, let's just talk. I just want to hear your story. I'm curious, enthusiastic curiosity. That's what I mean by servant-hearted. You just want to help people. Maybe you don't, and I'm not saying to be in this position, you got to be the person that's, like my wife would be like, that's a safety issue. Like what I mean by that is you're just naturally drawn to help. You just want to help. I know I just saw somebody's comment. That's pretty risky. Yeah, it's just because I want to help and I want to find the best way. And I found out long ago, giving people on the side of the street money often isn't the best way to help. Often it can be what's undoing the best way to help, right? So servant-hearted, that's what I mean. And let me, can I tell you, I think one of the best litmus tests for this is, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do? A friend of mine ran a company, still runs a company, that does equipment recycling. Maybe he's tuned into this. One of the things, as they were getting started, they didn't have that much money to hire a janitor. And so he's like, all right, we got to have signups to clean the bathrooms, to clean the break areas, to do the cleaning. And he literally posted a thing on the wall, and he's like, okay, I need once a week everybody to sign up, and I'm signing my name as the first. I'm walking in first to be the one that's going to clean the bathrooms and clean the break area, and I need everybody that's here, everybody, nobody's excluded from this. I need everybody to be signed up that you're going to be cleaning this. And that'd be my question. Like at that point, we already had a janitorial crew, but I wish we didn't. You know what I mean? I wish I could almost rewind. I'm like, man, what a good idea to identify. There are some people that will be like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, right? Whole variety of reasons why. If that's you, probably best not to apply. And what I mean by that is, do you have the kind of heart that will look at things and go, I'm going to do what's necessary? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it is. That's what I'm talking about when I say servant-hearted, right? Whew, man. Oh, almost feel that emotion rising up right there. So the antithesis, I have my little notes. The antithesis is, you see people in need and you back away. You back away from them. You see people frustrated with technology and you're like, ugh, I'm avoiding that one, right? And your spouse doesn't count. I shouldn't say that. But moving on. Next, we are a tech company who is relationship driven. I believe that we are on this planet. We are on planet Earth. Literally, if you want to know the meaning of life, it is relationship. It's relationship with other people. It's relationship with God. That is, let's just get that out on the table right there. We have values that are based a lot of in Christianity. Why? Because I'm a Christian, and that doesn't mean that everybody that has to apply is a Christian as well. But you will see a lot of times a meeting will start and be like, guys, can we just say a quick prayer? Some of you that have been on this live streams know that as I'm talking, I'm like, what, guys, can I just pray for you real quick, right? That's my way of thinking, right? So we are relationship driven, and what that means is we want to connect with our customers. We want to connect with people internally. I know this sounds a little bit like what I was just talking about, but what I mean by that, like one of our standard packages that we have for our customers is site visits. We will literally say, we want to come to your site, even if there is no tickets. And I know a lot of people here at Veeya are listening. Even if there are no tickets for your site. Yes, we can do almost everything remotely, but we want to be there because we know when we see you, there's going to be stuff that we see that there's no ticket created for because it's just a hassle and you're just like, it's not even worth it, right? We want to have a relationship. So when you think about technology, you think about us, right? You think about, there's these people that I know that have a face that can help us. Now, not everybody signs up for the site visits, but I will say we price them so aggressively that we almost lose money when our customers sign up for the site visits. Not all the way, but almost, because we want it to be a no-brainer. Like just do that. We want that relationship with you. So we are relationship-minded and relationship-driven. So much more I can say about that, but I'm gonna stop there because I'm looking at the little time clicker and I want to make sure that I have a chance to get through all of this. The last core value that we have is not one that you'll hear probably hardly anywhere. I've never heard this core value from any company before. Although many of these, enthusiastic curiosity, how many times have you seen that as a core value, right? But this is not one that I've heard before. It is an ownership mindset. An ownership mindset. I think that when I say that, a lot of people think, okay, you mean like we're owners of a company, or like we own. No, what I mean by that is when you have a task, when you have a project that you're working on, a ticket that you're solving, you own it. Meaning you will do whatever it takes to get that done. My wife used to run a help desk at a credit union. The way they phrase this is one and done, and I think that's a great other way of saying ownership mindset. One and done, meaning the call comes to you. You are where it stops. Now, it doesn't mean you don't ask for help. It doesn't mean you don't escalate but that means it lives with you. If you do have to escalate it, you still own it. You still are going to bring that back. You're going to ask why. You're going to have that enthusiastic curiosity. You're going to keep that relationship going with the customer because you are the one who owns it, right? Live and grow. I just saw somebody chat in. I call it responsibility. Just do it. One and done. Ownership mindset. You got it? Right? Like that's the feel. And what I mean by that is when you have a project and there's a deadline, you meet the deadline. And if you can't meet the deadline for whatever reason it is, you communicate that to the other person. You are somebody, so people with an ownership mindset literally bring energy. They bring joy. Versus the people who don't have the people that don't have that are the ones that they hope nobody notices that it's not done. They hope that if they don't respond to that ticket, the customer forgets about it and it just goes away and they kind of quietly close it or delete that ticket a month later, right? Like the opposite of that literally drains energy out of an organization as a whole. I want people, we all want people that bring energy and bring joy. And the way that you do that is to be that driven ownership mindset. I have drive and I'm going to inspire others because of my drive. I don't know if you know this, but when you have that ownership mindset, when somebody comes in and is like just knocking out tickets by the 10s, the 50s, it's just like all the people around them, what do? If you've worked at help desk before, you see it, right? There's the new guy. New guy is in there, and there's 20 other people around that have been there for years. And I'm not talking about Veeya. I'm talking about what often you'll see as a traditional help desk, right? The new person, they come in, they're fired up. They're like, bam, bam, bam. They're blowing away the metrics. Life is amazing, right? And what do all the other people that are sitting around do? You start to feel do you see what I mean? When people bring energy or bring joy, or they pull the energy away, or they pull the joy away, they'll say things like, he'll learn, she'll learn. She's got that now, but just wait, right? She'll see. You see what I'm talking about, right? So bringing that ownership mindset is literally bringing energy and bringing joy, because you get one person coming in that starts firing up, and what if someone else is like, you know what? I am kind of slacking. I'm jumping in on that. Let me get going. Then everybody else at that help desk is all like, oh man, it's energy perpetuates energy. Ownership perpetuates ownership. You see what that's. And I'm not just talking help desk. I'm talking about projects. I'm talking about relationships. Everything. Drive, responsibility. There's a lot of other words that you can get the ball rolling. I see Christopher just typing it in there. So that said, let me get this my notes here. I'm down to I'm landing the plane. I'm down to the end. What are we looking for? This is we are hiring. So first and foremost, in the description below, I posted the 3 positions and locations that we're hiring for. A common question I'll get, because I know this YouTube blast reaches thousands around the world, right? A lot of people will say, can I be remote? Can I be somebody who's remote and maybe relocates? Can I? I will say there are positions that can be remote. What we're hiring for today, right now, and this video will be used in the future for all kinds of things, but today, right now, I am looking for somebody in the Phoenix metropolitan area, in the San Antonio metropolitan area, in the Dallas metropolitan area, that is one of those people that is just getting started with technology. Or maybe you've worked on a help desk before and you're ready for a change of pace and you've got those core values I just talked about. That's right now what I'm looking for. I don't have a link yet to where you can apply. I know a lot of people will say, can I apply? Yes, but I'm going to add the link later for two reasons. One, I want to see who comes back. It's part of that ownership mindset. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing right now to be like, oh, let me just click the link and hit the apply right now. But I want to see who comes back. You know, we might post that link in a day. We might post that link in a week. We might post that link in a couple weeks. I want to see who has that ownership mindset to come back and apply at that time rather than just being that in the moment personality, right? So it's a test. The second reason is because the link's not ready. So we're going through a website update, and I'm like, I don't want to put that link on there without having exact what it is. So let me talk about the person that we are looking, or the people that we're looking for. We're looking for people that, number one, can handle a mix of remote work, on-site work, and in-office work. Thanks to COVID, almost everybody at Veeya, actually, I will say not just almost, everybody at Veeya now has some level of remote work in their job. They might be at home 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And I want you to know yourself. Some people, when you work from home, can't do it. And I understand. In Texas, we don't have a dedicated office yet that people can come into. Arizona, we've got it, and we're going to grow it. And so there's always a place to go. So if there is a time for remote work, I need you to know yourself. And if you can't do that, then it's probably best that you not apply. Same thing with on-site work. Same thing with in-office work. It's a mix. Don't just think, okay, I'm going to be at home all the time. I can do that. There's going to be some time where you're going on customer sites. There's going to be some times where now there will be training and all that. So it's a mix of all of that. We're looking for people that are flexible. We are a startup company, and I think we'll always be a startup company. What I mean by a startup company is there's not policy and procedure and process for every single thing. Sometimes you may get to a place where you're like, there should be an HR manual for this or something like that. Oh, mind helping us create one? Do you mind? We have an HR manual, but hey, there's no policy for that. Hey, well, maybe you can help us, right? So somebody that doesn't get frustrated when they see that, they see it as an opportunity to help. That's that servant-hearted, right? We want somebody who sees an opportunity and owns it. A lot of times, and over the years of running Veeya, I've had people ask, how do I get to the next level of my career? How do I get to the next position, right? And what I will say is start doing it. Start acting in that position. I want to be at a place where you are so operating doing that when I announce it, everybody's like, James, I thought he already was XYZ. Sarah, I didn't even know that she did. That's funny. So okay, great. She has that title. It's literally no surprise versus somebody who is like, promoted to a position and they're like, now I need to start operating that way, right? That I want that ownership mindset before you even get there. Own the position, even though you may not have it yet. So that's the kind of person we're looking for. I want people that lead others. When I say leadership, that's a big word. It means a lot of things. If I were to give you the simple Veeya definition, it means that you own stuff and then you bring others to do it with you. Like a leader is someone who realizes they are not the be-all, end-all of it. And let me give you actually a friend of mine gave me a great story. He worked at a company where the owner of the company literally came in with his big book and he's like, I need you to figure this out. It was some government policy, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, all right, I'll figure it out. And he literally owned it. He delivered, he did an amazing job. Auditors came in, they were like, this is amazing. And the owner sat back down with him a few months later and he's like, I've got to tell you, I will always be amazed at the job that you've done. You literally did an awesome job at everything here, and I will never promote you. And he was like, What? And why not? He goes, because you owned it, but you never brought anybody else along with you. You never trained anybody how to help with this. And so my friend who told me this story learned that day what leadership means. It means do a great job and then bring others with you. If you just now, and let me emphasize, I'm looking for awesome people. And if you want to stay there, if you want to stay in that role forever, just keep doing an awesome job and never, ever coach anybody else. Never, ever, help anybody else grow in that position. Never, ever, you see what I mean? So that's what I mean by leadership. We're looking for people that not only want to do an awesome job, they want to help others be awesome too. Looking for people that do not wait to be told what to do. I want now. We're in technology. I'm not talking about let's just go reboot those servers. What I mean is, don't just sit there waiting to be told. Have ideas. Be like, hey, I've got some thoughts. Can I do this? Bring those ideas to management. Don't just wait for managers to be telling you what to do. That's again, it's almost, I want to say that goes without saying, but it kind of goes without saying when I'm talking about a lot of the core values that we have. We want people with enthusiastic curiosity to wonder, maybe this could be for me. Are you listening to all of this? And you're like, this is kind of cool. This is kind of intriguing. I like this. Maybe I'm curious. And I'll go back. There's a reason there's no link yet on there. And 2 reasons there's no link on how to apply is because I want to see, is that enthusiastic curiosity a spark that lasts longer than this live stream? One of the mistakes I made long ago in teaching is thinking, man, if I just inspire people enough, they will carry, I got thrills out of years of training where I would get people so excited. They're like, man, but what I would found is they would leave the class, they would stop watching a video, and then life would kick in and they'd be like, oh yeah, that was the thing. Oh, yeah. That was the thing once, right? So that's where I want to find out. Do you have the enthusiastic curiosity to see this, to know there are positions available, and then come back later and apply? Not now. Don't do it right now. Because right now, you're feeding off of my energy. I know that sounds weird, maybe even almost egotistical, but it's. I've seen the reality. There are people who feed off of others' energy, and that energizes them. But as soon as they get away from that energy, they're not energized anymore. I want to find the people who are energized, but there's something intrinsic in them that keeps them going. That's you're the person I want to apply, right? All right, I'm just going to hit these last bullet points. I'm literally just going to read these because otherwise we'll be here too long. I'm looking for, okay, this is huge. I'm looking for people with a base level skill set. When I told you early on, we're looking for 2 different kinds of people, those that are just getting started in the career and those that are very experienced and can fit that position. I found I needed to clarify what just getting started means, because I've seen it. I've met people that I'm like, wow, you really are just getting started. So here's my what I call a base level skill set. You need to be able to read and write in fluent English. I'm not just talking. I'm not talking about. Are you from this country? I saw that in one of the comments. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter where you're from. Come on in. But you need to be able to read and write. And what I mean by that is I've had people join that I think the only schooling they had was texting. And I'm not trying to be insulting, but they literally did not know how to respond to a ticket in a way that didn't involve slang, that didn't involve what I would call text style communication. I need somebody who can communicate well, somebody who can read, somebody who can write, maybe not perfectly, but you have. Can you send what would be considered a good email? Something that people are like, oh wow, I enjoyed reading that email. It's not painful, like whoa. So right. So reading and writing is a big thing in fluent English. I need you to have an aptitude for technology. I'll give you an aptitude and an interest in technology. What I mean by that is there's a curiosity there that spurs you on. Like, oh, I wonder why. There are some folks that I've met that they just don't care. Like it's literally like technology. I don't care about it. And obviously for the positions we're hiring for right now, we need you to care. Like there's an interest there in learning technology. Not necessarily that you're a master at it, but you're interested in it. The people that understand the importance of responding to good communication. And like, I want to hammer this point. You're like, isn't that the same thing as like reading, writing can communicate well? No, what I mean by that is you have an interest in responding. There is a new culture that has emerged. It happened without me knowing it until I started hiring people, and I'm like, oh, this is the thing. A new way of communicating that is considered ghosting. Have you heard of that? Yeah, like, oh man, they ghosted me. What does that mean? It means somebody that you were communicating with and they just literally stopped responding. It's their way of saying like, okay, I'm done with this communication. I'm done with you, right? Or they receive communication and they're like, I'm just going to pretend like I never got that. Is that you? Rather than avoid conflict, or maybe your way of avoiding conflict is like, I'm just going to stop responding. So let me specifically talk what this looks like in a business. You receive an email and you literally ignore it, even though it's saying highlighted, please respond to this. You're like, whatever. You get a text message from a customer or from your boss or from a coworker, and they're like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, okay, my non-response will be my response. They'll get it, right? And it sounds like I'm angry when I'm talking about this. I'm not angry because I realize this is a new culture. And maybe it's part of the part of being in an information overwhelmed society is people are just like, I'm not responding to that information anymore, right? But it's created a culture where literally, I would call it apathetic. People are just apathetic to communication. Thank you, Joseph. Even the most basic network test is a ping. Even a ping requires a response, right? So, oh man, it's such a great tie in there, Joseph. When you ping something in the network world, you'll either get a request denied, which tells you something there is just blocking you, or request timed out. Oh man, what a great analogy. I do not want you to apply if you are a request timed out person. Like, I'm just not going to reply to emails, to Slack, to Teams, to text. You see what I mean, right? Okay. And the last one, which this is what I'm gonna end on. I need people to apply that have just a good dose of common sense, which I found is not as common. Lots of stories I could tell. I'm not going to tell them because we've hired I'll give a general scenario. I found it's not some people lack common sense that you just don't yell at customers. We had somebody who worked at us that felt like that when somebody didn't understand something, his way of being servant-hearted, and literally felt that, he really felt this, was to yell at them so that they knew they had to figure this out on their own. Like, stop sending in the same ticket, because if you would just, not looking for that. It's common sense that the customers are paying us because they don't know technology, and you would think that would be some common sense. But oftentimes I find that some people don't have that. So that being said, that is the culture of Veeya. 4 core values, and I'll hit them again: enthusiastic curiosity, servant-hearted, relationship-driven, ownership mindset, right? Those are the kind of people that we're looking for. We're looking right now at the time I'm recording this will change, and that's why I'm pointing you down there at the description below. I'm going to update that description with a link once it's ready for here are the open positions. But right now, I'm hiring 3 to 4 people that are going to be based in Phoenix, San Antonio, and Dallas, right? Irving, that area. It doesn't have to literally be that serious. They're the kind of people I'm looking for is people just getting started in the help desk. It'll initially be remote, where you're doing tickets from home. It will become very likely an on-site position to where you're going to customer sites, meeting them. Hi, how you doing? And we will prepare you for all of that. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not at this time. I'm not looking for folks outside of those areas. I'm not looking for folks that are saying, "Hey, maybe you can help me relocate to that area." I'm looking for people in those areas. So if that is you, come back and maybe by the time you hear this, you'll go to the link below and you'll see that. That being said, guys, appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me this morning. Hope you've enjoyed this and hope this was valuable for you. If not for Veeya, for other companies that you'll look at in the future. All right. Oh, wait. I was going to take questions at the end. So let me. So I'm looking at the timer. I've got 5 minutes that I'll do this. So let me scroll up. I see a lot of people that are saying. I see a lot of great comments. I see a lot of people saying, what about other countries? And that I've already responded to that. So just rewind and that'll be it. Let's see. Howard, double blue check marks is response enough for a new generation, I guess. Yes. Scroll. Joseph, such a great comment on ping. Okay, so lack of response kills me. Yes, and I will emphasize, lack of response is one of those non-ownership mindsets. When somebody communicates to you and you do not respond, hoping that just dries up and blows away, it drains energy. That's what I'm talking about by that energy drain. Whoever sent that means they now have to take their energy to follow up with you, right? They're like, oh, and it's draining. I've had people that ghost me, not it's just I'm not responding, and it's So that's it. So. Continue to scroll back. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back more. A lot of people responding to the lack of response. Leaders should help people grow. Yes, absolutely. Bring others along with you. Greetings from Greece. I will say, Kyle, last time I was in San Antonio was 2006 for Basic Air Force. I will say there is a large amount of people that work at Veeya that have military background, and I love it. The military, I would say probably out of anything, builds that ownership mindset into people. I can guess at how they do it, but yeah, if you have a military background, love it. Please apply. Let's see, is there relocation assistance? Not at this time. Let's see, quick question. Local folks. So a lot of people asking, would you move me? Can I relocate? I answered that. Hire me on your blockchain research team. Don't have that yet. Scrolling. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's see. Mikhail, thank you for the donation. This should be a TED Talk. maybe it could be. Thank you for that. Let's see. Delegate response. Okay, so let me scroll to the bottom because I think almost all the comments that are on here are kind of comments that have been going. So let me go to the most recent one. So last couple minutes. Great. I saw someone just say, I know I'm not applicable for this job, but I learned something from you, and that's great. That's what I'm hoping this does. Jacob, do you foresee any work with software-defined networking technologies like DNA center, network automation, etc.? Someday, not initially. I know with my Cisco background, a lot of people are like, okay, I'm going to be doing Cisco all the time. Believe it or not, we use a lot of vendors, Cisco included, but a lot of other technologies as well. Are there any age limitations? No. Not only is that illegal, but there are no age limitations for the position. Carl, last 5 years working as a network engineer in Department of Defense Network, looking to move. We'll keep a lookout. Great. Let's see. Zach, lack of response, angry response, only reveal how weak that person is. There's some truth in that. Let's see, fully remote positions. So do you have any fully remote positions? At the time I'm recording this, not yet. There are people that work for us that are fully remote. and do amazingly well. So keep coming back and take a look at the description. I saw someone asking about Viatto positions. Those will come. Viatto is, I would say, the new growing part of Veeya, where we're starting to build that learning center. More on that later. And last but not least, what is the salary range for the opportunity? For the help desk, we often will start lower because we grab people that are just getting started, people that do not have a huge technology background or are looking to say, I just want to start over. So salary range, but actually I'm not even, so once you see the link below, you'll see the salary range right on there. But I will say for the position I'm talking about, level 1 help desk in San Antonio, Dallas, and Phoenix, it will be lower than a lot of times people are looking for if they're coming in with a ton of background, ton of experience, and so on and so forth. Salary or hourly, it actually goes both ways. Depends on the person, depends on where we see them fitting in that. So that being said, I'm at 1 hour, so I'm gonna stop there. Thank you guys. Keep asking questions on this post, and we'll be responding them over time. All right.